and for his blessings. He has now come in our midst. He's with us. We don't see him as a spook. Right. He's no spook. He's a live man. He's a living God. I'm sorry that I have not asked you to sit down. You look so beautiful that I don't want you to sit down.
And a guest, and maybe he could help me to convey a message to you. He's my friend. I like him a lot, and I'm going to tell you why I brought him in and why I think he's important to the future of you learning about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And his name is Yosef bin Asiel Israel. Salam alaikum.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom righteous and holy praises forever due, we thank that great God for his coming to the wilderness of North America to raise up amongst us the first begotten from the dead. That special soul, I speak none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. In those holy and righteous names, I greet you in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. We'll be right back after these quick commercials. Looking for something that feels good, looks great, and stands the test of time? Well, we have it for you. Black Royalty is our athleisure line that is made from the finest bamboo and cotton blend. We have designed high quality tracksuit and t-shirts in multiple colors that provide you the most comfort when you need it most. Whether you're in the gym or running errands or just lounging around with loved ones, you need to be in the best quality clothing as possible. We have constructed a high quality clothing line that does not break the bank, and we beat out all of our competitors on price. So please, if you're interested in being comfortable, not just in the gym, but when you're running around and doing errands, please visit blackroyaltywear.com. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Black Royalty. And if you have any questions or comments about our brand and how you can help participate, you can find us at blackroyaltywear@gmail.com. We'll be quick to answer your questions, and with our responses, we will be very thorough. So also, like I said, Black Royalty is for you because it was made by you with the intentions of serving you. So leave all those other clothing lines behind and get on what makes sense, something that's going to stand the test of time, because black don't. Assalamu alaikum. Know Thyself Radio Show is a podcast dedicated to take on the social and psychological issues of today by using the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. This podcast challenges the societal ills of today and uses the message of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to intelligently improve our current circumstances. Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, we upload on all major streaming platforms. Type in Know Thyself Radio Show, Google Play Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many, many more. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back again to another installment of Know Thyself Radio, where we make it our business, our duty, our responsibility to give you nothing but the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And it is my honor, my privilege to come before you again, to be a witness bearer of that truth, to be one who has learned and studied the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who we know was taught personally by God in person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom righteous and holy praises forever due. We are grateful again to be in this day and time, to understand the reality of things, and to have the ability to be an adherer to the truth that was given to the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, by God in person. I would be remiss in my duties before I say any other word or go into my subject matter of today without giving a special thank you to last week's guest, my brother, my friend, Mike Taki, who did a magnificent job on articulating the importance of the messenger's teachings and how impactful the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the institution of Crow has been, was, and forever will be in not just his development, but the development of the black man and woman here in America and throughout. So again, brother Mike Taki, I was so honored to have you on the platform, and may it be the will of Almighty God Allah. I look forward to having you back on again. And again, I want to touch as we look at the reality of the world today, as we look at the ever pervasive hate and disdain that has been brought upon our people, the original man and woman, the black man, the woman of this planet Earth, the cream of this great planet and master of this universe. We see continuously, and I mean continuously, that there is no threat that is greater than the hate of the white man and his system that has the ability to implement externally and internally the detrimental effects of lies and deception. We are currently going into the third month here in America. The reality of this COVID pandemic, which we see has a lot of our people in particular very frightful and very fearing. Because again, though the reality of this virus, disease, like any other virus or disease, has the ability to have physical devastating effects, we not are taking into consideration the reality of the psychological and mental, spiritual effects of this pandemic and the white man's ability through his media apparatus to negatively influence us and to keep us detached from the truth of what is currently taking place. I say that to say that until we are able to create an environment that is isolated, controlled, meaning we know what goes in and what goes out. When we create a reality where we're able to create the necessary forms of intelligence, where we're able to do separate and independent due diligence as it relates to the adverse effects of anything that is taking place in this world and in this country or in our communities. Until we are independent thinkers that are not operated on the analyses of the white man's lies and deception and take his word for truth without doing the necessary research that is needed to be a people of sovereignty, we forever be victim and shackled to this oppressive system. See, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that you have to do for self. And doing for self is greater than just creating your own business, though that is a start. Doing for self is greater than just shopping with your brothers and sisters, though that is a great start. Doing for self is not just buying black, but it is thinking black and thinking about what is beneficial and advantageous for black. And not any point in history, not at any point in history, may I repeat myself, has there ever been a time where white people collectively and the system that govern white people have ever produced anything that was advantageous nor beneficial for the black man and woman here in America, and I would say humbly throughout this globe? So at what point are we going to think black and do for self and create the necessary institutions and systems that are motivated not just by black skin, but by the black mind, meaning what produces truth, righteousness, and justice in our environment? See, we flirt and we touch just the garment of freedom, justice, and equality, but something about us inhibited us and continue to halt our progression in the pursuit of total and complete freedom. Because I would say there is no such thing as partial freedom. There is no thing as halfway there when it comes to your equality. It's either complete freedom or no freedom at all. That is what we must be motivated by. That is what we must be operating in as we shift this paradigm from being subjugated to being free, to be able to determine our own future. Now, you look at it as a small thing, maybe, I don't know. You may look at it as something that is great, as almost something that is the only requirement. I don't know. But what I do know is there is one man that stood up and did not just talk, did not just do a little here, do a little there, but put his life into the complete freedom of the black man and woman here in America and subsequently throughout this planet. And that was the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was directly taught by God in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. Now, I'm not going to get into the numbers of the virus. I'm not going to get into certain precautions of the virus. I'm not going to get into any of those things today. Today, this conversation is solely framed around the reality of how we still, no matter what is going on, the number one target of this oppressive system in its pursuit to wipe us out. And what you say? Oh, Brother Yosh, they can't kill us all. Do they really want to kill us all? Some of us are married to them. Some of us are in their workplace and we make millions of dollars, billions of dollars for them. Some of us are their politicians and make laws and are their judges and have proceedings. And some of us are their architects. Yes, we are all of that and more. We are the builders of this country. We are the architects of this country. We are the very life source of this country. Always have and always will be. But again, they have efficiently been able to make us other than ourselves. And by making us other than ourselves, we become artificial intelligence. We become a shell of ourselves. We become robots who do not have the capacity to fight them in any efficient manner that we can overthrow their oppressive tyranny and be able to implement justice for the most of us. But there is a small group, a small fraction, as the scriptures say, it would only be 144,000 of us that really understand freedom and cannot be changed, cannot be coerced, cannot be altered, nor manipulated in doing anything that is not advantageous for our people and ourselves. That's what I'm talking about. And so that, when I say they're trying to wipe us out, is the reality and the demographic that I am speaking to. So, brothers and sisters, those who don't live on truth, who don't have integrity, don't have honor, are not based on principles and morals, who don't do what's right for themselves and for them people, they're not alive anyway. So I wouldn't even be speaking to that group. I'm speaking to those who embody those principles and who are motivated solely by truth. That is what I'm talking to. That is the ones that they are trying to kill. That is the problem that America has with you and I, because we represent their demise. Their time is up. So what do you do when your time is up? You take a kamikaze approach. If you're going to go, you try to ensure that you take as many with you as possible, if not the whole of them. That is the white man's mentality before, and that's the white man mentality now, and that will be the white man's mentality until he is no more. It's no more. You don't have a position in their world. Not if you're president and you're black. Not if you are a judge and you're black. Not if you're an entertainer and you're black. Not if you are anyone who has accumulated any type of affluence and you're black. When you're black, you are placed in a permanent underclass that cannot be overthrown, nor can it be removed, because you will forever, in their eyes, be seen as a slave. Case in point, here in Illinois, throughout most of the country, is the reality of us practicing social distancing, being on lockdown, those type of things. One of the things they do is they try to so-called reopen the economy is make anybody who's out in the public wear these face masks. Now, that has been state law. That all the people in Illinois are to wear these masks if you're in public, and you cannot practice 6 feet social distance in particular. But a lot of these stores are making it mandatory for even you to make purchases that you must be wearing a mask or some type of face covering. But for the black man, those rules don't exist. They're always going to be twist and turn. Now, state rep here in Illinois, Mr. Buckner in the District 26, was profiled racially by a police officer who stopped him and demanded to see proof of purchase and identification after he left a retailer just May 3rd of this year. Now, let me go into this. Under the terms set by Governor J.B. Pritzker, all of those people in Illinois are supposed to wear face masks when they're in public. I said that. And in a series of tweets, even by Buckner himself, he called it a responsible move that will save lives. Now, this is a black man who has aligned himself with the white power structure, or at least by falling in line. Rather, it may not be something where he was intentionally saying, I'm under white master, but subsequently, you don't have to speak those words, or even have to have those thoughts. If you're in their system and you're governed by their way of life, then you automatically capitulate. Whether you call yourself a slave or not, it doesn't change the fact. Now, this is how you have to see that there is no equality in this system. On Sunday, Buckner said he was dressed in a hoodie, sweatpants, gym shoes, and a face mask and gloves like many other shoppers that he saw. He also made purchases at a store reportedly in the South Loop. Now, as a brother who's shopping in so-called progressive aspect of outside of downtown, the South Loop area, where you have mostly white, but a mixed demographic, Asians, certain blacks. After Buckner was stopped by uninformed policemen and questioned his items, demanding to see a receipt and his ID before taking them to his vehicle. Now, this is after he was leaving the store, made his purchases. That's a state rep, mind you. Supposedly somebody of influence in the political scheme of things. Just another black man. An ununiformed policeman, not even somebody in a uniform. See, this is going to go to the next point I'm going to make after this story. An ununiformed policeman stopped him and questioned him about his items and demanding to see a receipt and his ID before taking them to his vehicle. When do you ever see any black man even have the audacity to question any white man, even if they know they're stealing, about what they're doing? When do you see white people questioning white people about items, even when they know they are stealing? Let me just give a quick preface. These are the same people when a white man who wasn't belligerent, wasn't disrespectful, was telling a white woman she couldn't be at the park because of the parks being closed and social distancing, so forth and so on, got so irate, so infuriated that she made a big deal out of it, to the point that the other people in the community came to that police officer's house in mass numbers demanding answers. Now, he didn't arrest the lady. He didn't disrespect her. He didn't beat her. He didn't kill her like they do us. He just told her to leave. But the audacity of you, white man, to try to treat me like a Negro and tell me that I am in a position where I can't do what I want. See, white people are in a position now that they are being even suggested to do other than what they want at that particular moment. And that's a problem, because white people have been having the ability to do whatever they want, whenever they want inside this country, whether they're broke, whether they're homeless, whether they're destitute, whether they're meth addicts, regardless. They're in a system of white supremacy which gives them a level of freedom that you as a black man who has $100 million will never experience. Now, back to the story. When Buckner asked why he had been stopped, the patrolman reportedly said, "People are using the coronavirus to do bad things. I can't see your face. You look like you were up to something." I'm gonna continue on, which begs the question, what does someone who is up to something look like, Buckner asked? As scorns of masked people walked in and out without encumbrance, I was reminded of the reality that I had been programmed to show as much of my face as possible and use certain cues to disarm anyone who might even have leaned or have learned of any inclination to be suspicious of my very presence. And then, now see, I'm gonna stop there for a minute. If anybody has ever leaned into the presumption that he was suspicious, he wanted to make sure that his dress or his appearance was appropriate to try to disarm anybody who took on that position. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is a level of cognitive dissonance that we have that is killing our people, while the messenger of God teaches us to know thyself, to give you the true knowledge of self, the true knowledge of God, and the true knowledge of the devil. Why is that important? Because you try to justify the irrational thinking of white people to make yourself a victim, or to make yourself a criminal, or to make yourself the problem, even when you know you're not. And so you think and operate based on, how will this affect white people? Good or bad? And even though his response was, what does somebody who looks like they're up to something look like? He wasn't even being honest with himself, though he thought he was being smart. He might even been sincere. But it's you're black, you're a male. See, if he didn't have a mask on, you know what they do? They would have stopped him for saying, you are defying the laws that has been set by Governor J.B. Pritzker and not practicing social distancing, nor are you wearing the necessary mask covering that will save lives based on his tweet. And you will be criminalized for that. But as black people, we have learned that even if you do follow the rules and you do follow the laws, that it don't mean nothing anyway, because they're going to make up new laws and new rules to penalize you anyway, because you are the threat. They're keeping you in a system that is engulfed in hopelessness and despair. You're the problem irregardless. Irregardless. So, Buckner, a tattooed 6'4" former University of Illinois football player, said experience dictated to me the dangers that may wait to assail me for simply having my hood up. That's what a someone who is up to looks like. He recalled talks of African American boys receives on how to maneuver a society that often looks at you as a threat first, and a mentor who told him as a teenager to dress like a prospect and not a suspect. Now, you're right. You can wear suits. You can wear appropriate clothes. But again, the attire that you're wearing that makes you the problem, that makes you a suspect, not a prospect, has nothing to do with your articles of clothing, but the skin that you're covered in. You can't remove that. That is the uniform that the white man looks at when it determines your possibility of doing something devious and diabolical. And see, until you realize that reality, you're never going to be able to, never, ever, ever going to be able to enact your freedom, because you again are making excuses for white people and denying the fact that cognitive dissonance, knowing there's a system of racism, knowing that there's a system of white supremacy, knowing that the white man is innately the devil incarnated, knowing that, you try to rationalize in your mind with things that are non-effect to try to supersede you accepting the truth of what is truly taking place. And so you victimize yourself. You put yourself in this position by ignoring the realities of the world. You have to do for self. Now I'll keep on going, but you get the point. Get the point. Now, I want to go to a situation again because this is something that surfaced up from February of this year, but the video came live recently, this past week, and it's of a black Georgian man, 25 years of age, who was chased and killed by a white man, two white men. And this is important. And I bring this up because we have to understand the reality of their hate in this coronavirus pandemic being a tool to reenact their system of subjugation at Jim Crow level of openness and overtness. We are in a time where we're going to see lynchings happen more and more and more. We cannot be afraid to call these things off what they are. We cannot be afraid to speak to the truth of these things. When we look at the reality of what's taking place and how it is adversely affecting our people, and how we keep getting victimized, we keep getting fatally shot, we keep getting destroyed and killed in droves, and we don't do nothing about it. Yet, because we suffer from cognitive dissonance, we'll kill one another without even thinking. You have been dehumanized at the highest level. Let me read this, a little bit of this. Ahmaud Arbery, 25, was jogging in the neighborhood outside of Brunswick, Georgia on February 23rd when a former police officer and his son chased him down. Authorities said, according to Glenn County Police report, that Gregory McMichael later told officers that he thought Arbery looked like a person suspected in a series of recent break-ins in the area. After they chased down Arbery, McMichael told police Arbery and McMichael's son, Travis, struggled over his son's shotgun. McMichael said 2 shots were fired before Arbery fell to the street, the report said. In a later revealed to the police, George Barnhill, one of the district attorneys who had recused himself from the case and saw the autopsy report, wrote that Arbery sustained 3 wounds during the struggle for the gun. Tom Durden, the district attorney for the Atlantic Judicial Circuit, wrote in a news release obtained by CNN on Tuesday that he expects to present the case to the next available grand jury in Glenn County to consider whether charges are merited for those involved in Arbery's death. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, courts are currently prohibited from impaneling grand juries. Durden did not return CNN's call for comment, but the local branch of the NAACP provided the CNN with a document labeled as a press release, which matches a statement that Durden gave the Atlantic Journal-Constitution. Esley Merritt, an attorney for Arbery's family, said in a statement that the 2 men involved in the chase must have been taken into custody pending their indictment. CNN's attempt to reach the McMichaels on Tuesday were unsuccessful. Governor Brian Kemp said that the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has offered resources to Durden for his investigation. Georgians deserve answers, Kemp tweeted. Kemp also retweeted that the GBI's post that Durden formally requests the GBI to investigate the death of Arbery. State Attorney General Chris Carr said he was deeply concerned by the video and the news reports. Now let me stop here for a second. Everything in this system will be used to racially target you. Now, we see the errors in the stories already that a former police officer, something about these so-called boys in blue, whether they formerly, currently, or just connect to law enforcement, still hold on that old slave catching mentality. Whenever they see a Negro doing anything, it's their obligation to chase them down and kill them. Because that's all it was. It had nothing to do with no break-ins and him being a suspect. They seen this man that was alone and was a sitting duck as the prime opportunity to kill them a Negro. And they took full advantage of it. The father probably, since he was a police officer in Georgia, killed him a couple of Negroes. So he was popping his son cherry and told him that it was time for him to kill him a Negro. Probably either shot the first shot to prime him or finished him off with the last. So his son might have shot him twice, but either didn't have the guts to start it off or didn't have the courage to finish him off. Either or, they both are complicit. And again, these white people, like the killer of Trayvon Martin, that scum George Zimmerman, who took it upon himself to do a citizen's arrest, had nothing to do with him being a good citizen nor trying to stop any crimes that was in play, but again, seeing the opportunity to kill a black man because they understand the reality of them being in natural decline. They understand the reality of them keeping fear into the people, and there's hate and disdain that is innately in them as being an adversaries of God, truth, and the chosen original people. They seen they had the chance to kill one, which is the greatest glory a white supremacist can practice, is the killing of one of us. And it shows that the new district attorney, who was supposed to be one to find justice. See, now if it was a black man on court for selling some weed, they would have had him locked up without questioning. Wouldn't have been no grand jury. Because one, a grand jury is a cop-out. It's a private jury that nobody has access to. That a lot of times is handpicked by the district attorney that can be persuaded to pursue whatever they want them to do, whether going through with it or not. Also, for him to know that the pandemic is going on and that all the grand juries are set aside at the present moment, you can't form one, further gives credibility how they're trying to protect them too. So all the public outrage is inconsequential because we decided we want to do a grand jury, we're not going to arrest them, and you're going to have to wait till we say so. And this is the same state who's making it priority to reopen every aspect of their economy. That's the same Governor Kemp. So again, what's priority? It's always been killing you and I. We got to really reassess the reality of what's taking place. Now, this video came out showing the reality of what took place. The 30-second video clip, which had been deleted from the radio station website, was taken by a person in a vehicle that pulls up behind the pickup truck that had stopped in the road. CNN has now independently verified who recorded the video. The recording has sound, but yelling in the video is unintelligible. It is not clear what happened immediately before or after the confrontation. The video begins with the man in the white t-shirt jogging down the middle of the street toward a pickup. One man is in the bed of the truck, the other is standing near the driver's side door. As the man in the t-shirt approaches, he goes around the pickup on the right side, as just as he was passing the front of the vehicle, he makes a left and begins tussling with the man with the shotgun. As the shotgun goes off, the two disappear on the left side of the screen, and the man who was running appears to throw a punch. The man standing in the back of the truck takes out a handgun but doesn't fire. The second shot is heard as the men were fighting off the screen. As the men come back into the view, both are still grabbing the shotgun. The man in the t-shirt appears to throw a right hand punch at the man's head as a third shot is being heard. The man who was shot recoils as the blood appears on the t-shirt below his left rib cage. He stumbles and falls in the middle of the two-lane road. The man with the shotgun walks away as the other man runs toward them with his gun in his right hand. Now, again, that's what took place in the video. Now you see the young brother tried to fight for his life, so that means that it was an altercation that had preceded that. Antagonizing. Maybe they got a sister and they think the black man was sleeping with her. You know, a lot of these things is what triggered these white supremacists to go on this murderous pursuit. Vengeance with blood. Or again, like they said, they could have just seen the brother and they wanted him dead. But again, they're not indicating who shot that third shot. And I'm almost sure knows the father. Now, the prosecutors recused themselves. There has been no charges against the father and the son involved in the incident. Again, why is that? Because they don't have no plan on prosecuting a white man, two white men for killing a Negro. To them, that's a job well done. That's a job well done. Now, the father gives his version of the events, and you know that's a whole bunch of lies, because he made it seem as if they were trying to talk to him and they were trying to reason with him, and the brother Arbery was the one who was the assailant and the aggressor, which we know is just a blatant mischaracterization of what took place and of what was the real account there. Now, before I finish up, I want to go to the messenger. See, we always got to go back to the messenger to give context. He automatically lets us know the reality of what's taking place. Now, this is on page 330 of Message to the Black Man. Answer to the Christian Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. And it reads on this: infidels, repent for Mohammedism or burn in the hell forever throughout eternity. The Lord Jesus Christ is the only begotten Son of God. He is the only one who can save your infidel souls and lead you into heaven. Read the Holy Bible, St. John 6:35, and Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. St. John 6:47, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me have everlasting life. St. John chapter 8:12 verse. Then speak Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Acts 16th chapter 31st verse. And they said, Believe, O Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved in thy house. Acts 4:12. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven whereby we must be saved. Therefore, Muhammad can do you no good. It does not surprise me to hear Islam is growing among the Africans of America. It is easy to understand because of Islam is a nigger religion. It has only been successful among Africans and mixed breeds and never among the white people. Never. As you probably know, Christianity was well established throughout North Africa by white people before Muhammad was born. As time went on and more people in North America become marginalized with African blood, therefore they no longer able to willing to stand up and fight for Christianity when persecution came upon them from Arabia. Their faith in Christ was shallow and weak. Then came the bloody Islamic conquerors from Arabia who slaughtered the white Christian leaders but spread the black people and mixed breeds. The Africans quickly forgot Christ, the true religion, and became Mohammedites. Some scholars have wondered why, but not me. I know why. Islam is a product of the colored race. Islam is a dark religion for dark people. I don't know why Africans would support Islam for any other reason except of race. There are several reasons why niggers should oppose it. One reason is that the Quran forbids Muslims to drink intoxicating drinks, whereas most niggers like to get drunk. It also says that thieves should have their hands cut off, but many niggers would be left without hands. Christianity, the only one and only true religion, has been successful in white nations among white people and recognized in the literature of the Christian party. Christianity prevails in every white nation, even when outlawed, but does not appear to have roots in any colored nation that will withstand tribulation. Therefore, on a racial group's bias, it would appear that only the superior white race is capable of appreciating Christianity, and that dark inferior races prefer a heathen religion like Islam. Now, let me just stop there. It goes on. He says some more stuff, but I want to stop there. There was a point that I wanted to get to. Now, he is correct. Islam is for the original man. Islam is not for white people. White people can practice Islam, but Islam is not a religion. It's a way of life, of submission to the will of God and the doing of right and the producing of justice. Christianity is not original amongst the original people. This is a slave-making religion that was given to us by our slave masters. That's why it says that Islam forbids the drink of intoxicating drinks, but Negroes like them. Yeah, niggas like drinking because you made the Negro to like drinking. Yeah, Negroes steal because you made the Negro steal due to your deprivation of resources and goods, that you would starve us to death, that the only way we can eat is by trying to scavenge anything that we can find, and you call it stealing. Now, I read that because this is the reality of what not the Ku Klux Klan sees you, but every white person, whether liberal or conservative, whether homosexual or straight. whether woman or man. They see you as an abomination. They see you as a criminal because that's what they made you. And so the two stories that I read before with the senator or state rep, and then the brother who was killed down there in Georgia goes to this fact. But what's the solution? Why'd you say this and not give us the answer? Well, I don't have to give you the answer. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gives you the answer. And I'm going to read his response to this Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard. He said, "Sir, the only so-called Negroes who love you, the whites, and desire you are those who are ignorant of the knowledge this is you do not know." Now let me repeat that again. The only so-called Negroes who love you, the whites, and desire you are those who are ignorant of the knowledge of you. This you do not know. As soon as they are awakened, and as they will to the knowledge of you, being the real devils, their open enemies, they too will not shake your hands, nor want to look at you or even your shadow. The truth of you will make all black mankind hate you, regardless of their color, black, brown, yellow, or red. This truth of you is part of the secret that was withheld by Allah to allow you to live your time 6,000 years. I admit that the so-called Negroes are not only ignorant of self and you, but they are actually mentally dead. Your time is up, and you are now being revealed, and you will by no means be able to hide yourself or deceive my people any longer. Who is the blame for the mixing black Africans or the white European devils? Did the black Africans go seeking your white woman in Europe, or did you carry her to them in Africa? Isn't it true that black Africans are today asking your kind to leave them and their country, and you won't leave without war? They will one day throw you out. How did the so-called Negroes get into America? Did they come here of their own desire for America and for your own women? Or did you go after them in their country and bring them here against their will? Did your Negro slaves even try making sexual love with their slave masters' wives and daughters while you held and still hold complete power over them? Which of your houses and families show that the black and white males have been and are still visiting yours or the Negroes? We will see you day and night after the so-called Negro women whistling and winking your eyes and blowing your car horns at them, making advances to every Negro woman that walks, rides, flies, or works for you in your homes, offices, and factories. Not in America alone, but all over the earth. Wherever you go among the black, brown, yellow, and red people, we see that you are after our women, whom you say to be ugly. If your women are so beautiful, why then do our ugly women attract you and your kind? You and your kind, according to history, have been after our women ever since being on our planet. Now, he goes on to just spank them, but I wanted to stop there because I'm saying that to say, in the messenger's response, is that the reality of our solution is being able to not lie to ourselves anymore, to remove that cognitive dissonance, to destroy the lies and deception that has been impregnated into our minds, our hearts, and our souls. And once we remove that fear, remove that deception, and we remove that false image of this white God and put it back with the true image of God, the true image of ourselves, and identify what we know as God to truly be the devil, that will bring into reality the desire of change, the pursuit of freedom that is needed to overthrow this very circumstance. We have to do for self, and doing for self means separating from this enemy and really building a nation of our own. I thank you again. for listening, taking this time to take heed of the words and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I leave you as I greeted you in the words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.